Someone called Child Protective Services on me, and they showed up at my door with a caseworker. Last month, I opened my front door to find a woman with a clipboard and a police officer behind her. I'm from Child Protective Services. We received a report about your children. I was terrified because I had no idea what she was talking about. My kids were at school and my house was clean. She inspected every room, taking photos and checking where my kids slept. When she left, she said someone would be in touch. I called my husband immediately and we sat at the kitchen table trying to figure out who would report us. We didn't have enemies. Then his phone rang and it was his sister Diane. I heard CPS came by today. I'm so glad someone finally reported you. Those kids deserve so much better. I felt sick and my husband went completely pale. He could barely get the words out. Diane, what are you talking about? She actually laughed. Everyone sees how you parent. I had to do something. Then she just hung up. The next day, my husband's mother called screaming about how Diane told her I was neglecting the kids by leaving them home alone and not feeding them. His mother believed every word and my husband tried defending me, but she wouldn't listen. Diane would never lie about the children. She loves them too much. I watched my husband's face just fall apart. 2 days later, CPS called again. My 7-year-old came home that afternoon and climbed into my lap asking, "Mommy, why did that lady keep asking if you leave us alone?" I told her you never do. My throat hurt and I couldn't answer her. My 10-year-old wouldn't even look at me and just went to his room and slammed the door. I stood outside listening to him cry and I felt completely helpless. And 3 days later, the caseworker showed up unannounced saying she needed to observe our family. She sat on my couch for 2 hours watching us eat dinner and watching me help with homework while taking notes the entire time. My daughter kept looking at her with these scared eyes. After she left, my daughter asked if they were taking her away and I didn't know what to say. A week after that, my neighbor who I'd known for 5 years crossed the street to avoid me. At my son's baseball game, the mothers I always sat with picked up their stuff and moved when I arrived. My husband's family stopped answering calls and his mother blocked my number completely. Diane started posting on Facebook about protecting children and everyone thought I was abusing my kids. 2 weeks later, the caseworker called us back to her office. There have been 2 more reports and that's 3 total. I could barely breathe. All 3 reports describe escalating neglect and this is a high priority case now. I asked who kept calling, but she said she couldn't tell us. That night, Diane called my husband crying about how she couldn't watch this anymore. "Please let me take the kids for a few weeks just until you get help." My husband's voice was hard when he said no. The crying stopped immediately and her voice turned cold. "Then you're making a terrible mistake. Those kids will be removed either way." She hung up and my husband looked at me. Why does she want our kids so badly? The next morning, the caseworker called saying there had been a 4th report and that my sister-in-law had requested emergency kinship placement. I started crying right there. "I need you both in my office this afternoon." We drove there with everything we had. The caseworker reviewed our documents for a long time before turning her computer screen toward us. Every single report came from the same phone number. All 4 reports came from Diane. In yesterday's report, she claimed your children told her directly they were being neglected. She pulled out papers. These are the written transcripts from your children's school interviews, and your children never said anything like that. She completely made it up. She slid photos across the desk showing exposed wiring and black mold everywhere. Her home failed basic safety standards, and she also had a child welfare case 8 years ago in another county where her own children were removed temporarily. She never told us about any of this. The caseworker looked at us. Her oldest son called yesterday and said she did this same thing to his aunt 4 years ago by making false reports to try and get custody. This is a deliberate pattern. She closed the folder. "Your case is closed and we're forwarding everything to the district attorney." 2 days later, Diane was charged with 4 counts of filing false reports and fraud. My daughter asked why Aunt Diane wasn't coming to Thanksgiving and said, "Good. She always looked at us weird anyway."